This time, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'll have the member will do our invocation. Will you bow with me? Merciful and loving God, we thank you for your presence among us this day. We thank you that you walk with us in the duties that we perform, in the work that we do, and in the care that we provide to our country, to each other, to our state. We pray that you will continue to walk with us, to guide us, to strengthen us, to show us the path, and to help us continue to serve as we should. Walk with us this day as we meet, as we learn, and as we celebrate accomplishments. May we find your grace and your strength in all of these. And we pray these things in your precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Go ahead and take your seats, please. We're so happy to have all you here this evening or this morning. Before we go any further, it's my pleasure to introduce the official party and some special guests in attendance today. We have over here on the left, Colonel Robert Todd, the North Central Region Commander. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Peterson, the CAF-USAF North Central Liaison Region Commander. Of course, Colonel Erica Williams, our Missouri Wing Commander. And Lieutenant Colonel Dan Ransom, the Missouri Wing Vice Commander. We'd like to also recognize our former Wing Commanders and staff in presence this morning. Colonel Bill Winkert Sr. is here, over here. Colonel Emmett Williams, back there in the back, and Colonel John Mabes. And also we'd like to please welcome Colonel David Plum from our Nebraska Wing Commander back there in the back. Rich Almeida, CAF-USAF. Is he here this morning? Yep. Oh, he's hiding. He's good about hiding. And also from the Illinois, we have Captain Terry Peterson, I understand. Way back there in the back. She's the Deputy Finance Manager from Illinois. So we'd like to welcome you all for attendance today as well. The Wing Conference is a time of membership together that we gather together to celebrate our successes, and we look forward to the coming year. This morning we'll have some comments from some of our leadership. We'll also have the pleasure of honoring some of our fellow members, and we will, with their well-deserved awards and promotions. If at any point during this time, this weekend, you have any questions, please feel free to address it to any of the wing staff members that are wearing the yellow tags, sorry, orange tags, I would gather what it is, okay. And if not, you know who we are. And all we ask in return is that you not flood the hotel this time around. And if you remember the last time we were in attendance here, we had an issue, so. At this time, fellow members and friends of Missouri Wing Commander Colonel Erica Williams would like to say some words.
Why we don't have a committee plan things. Welcome. I hope that you all are having a good time. We had a little bit of a rough start before I kind of get into my official words that I'm not really sure that I want to say, but I will anyway. unfortunately they're not here, and we are doing the best we can without them. So hopefully we do not disappoint them, especially Julie. At least it's not a World Series game, and we don't have to worry about it during my banquet. So besides that, we are here to have a good time, and I hope that we do, even with the cards not doing so well. This conference has some very interesting breakout sessions that I hope will be a great benefit to you. We've got some great opportunities for you to learn some things that are going on in this wing and even nationally for Civil Air Patrol. I want to make sure that we recognize everybody who was involved in the planning of this. So if you see people who are on staff, thank them throughout the day because they have put in a lot of work for this activity. But I also want to say that it's not just them that we need to thank, and that's part of the reason I stand up here every year and say thank you, because you all put in a lot of work. Brad Sankert, at the last minute, picked up this conference and started working. I've got Dan Ranson, who I think even at this moment is looking at a budget, making sure I'm not going over it. So it's not just those guys, but every single one of you do a great deal for us, and I really appreciate that. But I wanted to share, I try to share something fun with you every time I stand up here. And over this past summer, as I was traveling, it's one of the few things I do. Some of you know this. I sit on my phone at airports and hotels, and I play different things. Words with friends. That's the favorite one. And I seem to keep up pretty good with it. But I also check in to see what my friends are doing. And one of the things that they do is, if you'll turn to the next slide, because I didn't hit a clicker, are these things. This was fun this summer. Everybody had them. And for those of you that don't know what happens, basically with this, it's the things that, this is what my mom thinks I do, my friends think I do, what I think I do, but what I really do. And so I thought to myself, how does this fit with Civil Air Patrol? And if we'll go to the next slide, this is how some of the pilots, I think of themselves. Not in this wing. Not in this wing. We have good pilots who don't think that they're Top Guns. But, next slide, this is what we are. We're always ready to go, but we're having a good time while we're doing it. We have a good group of guys and gals that fly for us. So I appreciate all their hard work. But then I thought about my job. And I thought, well, if I'm honest, next slide, this is what I do. People are trying to tell me things, I'm trying to read emails. Occasionally I might be playing Words with Friends, but usually I'm checking email while they're trying to tell me things. But this is what, next slide, I really wish I was. Because isn't that just cool to have a big seat like that, big desk in the middle of our airplane, somebody flying her around? Yeah, I can't look that cool. But in reality, if you want to know the truth, this next slide is what I really wish I was doing. Just relaxing. But then I thought, you know, those are how we see things and how we want to see things. And sometimes our perceptions are correct. For example, my finance officer and my vice commander, Dan Ranson, next slide, this is what we think he says. Yeah. But in reality, this is what he really says. And that's why I share this with you. Go ahead to the next slide. We don't need a big man to tell us no. It's all about perception. And what we try to do at the wing staff level is give you information so you have the correct perception, so that you know what's going on. Sometimes we don't get the information out as quickly as you would like. We're working on that. Sometimes we don't know the answer. We just know it has to happen. Colonel Tom and Colonel Peterson have worked very hard over the last a few months. It's not really been that long, has it? To help educate us wing commanders so that we can help educate you, so that you know what's happening. The reason I bring this up today, just like we talked about the town hall meeting last night, we've got a lot of changes coming down the road this year. There's going to be some financial issues, there's going to be personnel issues, at the national level and in CAPU staff. And we're going to do the best to keep you informed. We're also going to do the best that we can to keep this wing running as beautifully as it has. You guys put in a lot of hard work, and we're going to do what we can to make sure that that happens. So it's those perceptions of me just sitting around, even though I wish I was, mask on my face. I think that's what my chief of staff thinks I do. And playing words with friends. That's not what I'm doing here. I recognize the work you put in, and I try to work just as hard, but you guys wear me out. But I want to thank you for the opportunity to represent you and to tell people the amazing work that you do. And I don't show them the pictures of the Top Guns and things like that, because that's not you. You don't have that image of yourself. We're a very humble and a very proud group, and we work hard to be Civil Air Patrol and Missouri Wing, not some fictional image. And we're going to continue to do that. And I know that this year, even with some of the changes that are happening, it's going to be a little rough. We're going to survive, just like we always have. And if I'm lucky, I'll still be here next year just for bringing more funny jokes. But again, I want to thank you for coming. Please take the time this afternoon to learn something, get to know people, network, and catch up with old friends. That's what this weekend's about. It's to celebrate some of the, to learn some stuff and to celebrate some of our accomplishments. So thank you again for attending.
Thank you, Colonel Williams. At this time, I'd like to have our safety review with Captain Austin.
Thank you for flying Cap Airlines. The exits are there, and the event of happy for wrong place. Seriously, we do want to provide a safe environment. You really don't want to create paperwork for the safety directorate where we look at it and go, really? Did they really do that? We are predominantly an office environment, so the biggest hazard while we're here are slip, trips, and falls. And one thing I have noticed in this facility is the carpet is loose in several areas. So you just go up and down the main drag here, and in some of the rooms. So just pay attention to your footing. We don't want anybody falling. So if you do have an issue with something, I will file 911 is the local emergency number here, and Jeff City Fire Rescue and the local emergency number. That's quite a bit. For everybody else here, just remember this is an office environment, and so the general safety stuff is all pretty much generic. For those who aren't safety current, please make sure I get your CAP ID number so I can put you in a safety current. And if anybody has any questions on the safety group, I'll be around. Have a great conference. Thank you.
We'd like to change the pace here a little bit and move to a more solemn moment. Prior to the award portion this morning, we'd like to recognize those members who have passed away this past year and recognize them. The passing has been difficult for the wing, and our thoughts and prayers are with their family and friends. This year we lost Major Blanche Ballard, Captain James Pockey, Lieutenant Colonel Ray Newkirk, and Major Eric Jensen. We would have a moment of silence in memory of our friends and colleagues. May God rest their souls. So next we'll move on to the awards portion, the fun part of what we do today. This is our opportunity to honor our membership who's done so much for the wing and the Civil Air Patrol this year. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties of printing off some of the certificates, we didn't get those done in time for the conference, so we'll be handing those out later. The commander would, however, like to recognize all these members. They'll present the certificates at a later date. When your name is called, please form a line across the front of the room with the wing commander to personally congratulate you. So let's begin with the Missouri Wing Color Guard you saw this morning from the Springfield Regional Composite Squadron. Cadets Hunter Shepard, Edward Gaybright, please come to the forward. Jeremiah D. Wright, and Austin Robertson. Oh, and Tyler Campbell, too. They are receiving the Commander's Commendation for all their hard work in representing Missouri Wing at the North Central Region Competition. And then they went on to represent the North Central Region at the National Cadet Competition. This team took 4th place national. They are honored by their fellow competitive teams with a special team award for character and integrity. Congratulations, guys. As we all know, the cadets couldn't do this without the support of their senior members, so at this time we'd like to recognize their escorts, Lieutenant Brian Shepard, Master Sergeant Mike Mundry, and Senior Member Paula Gabriel. Or not. Oh, there they are. Lieutenant Brian Shepard served as the primary escort for the entire season as the color guard events to include competitions and community presentations. Master Sergeant Mike Mundry stepped up and helped another unit make it to the region cadet competition by attending on short notice. We appreciate that. And Senior Member Paula Gabriel served as an escort for the national cadet competition. Sorry, you weren't here being recognized for their outstanding work and for supporting the squadron of the Wing Lieutenant Alvachon, serves as a unit logistics officer and as a Wing Assistant Transportation Officer. Technical Flight Officer Galvan was heavily involved in the cadet program and trained in cadet leadership schools, attended Cayman as medical officer, and many squadron meetings and events. Major Gervis is the Deputy Commander for Seniors and is very active in emergency services, serving with additional duties outside the squadron on a regular basis. Congratulations. We'd also like to recognize the following units for earning the Quality Cadet Unit Award. Unit commanders, please stand when your unit is called. St. Charles Composite Squadron, Platte Valley Composite Squadron, Springfield Regional Composite Squadron, Colonel Travis Huber Squadron, and the Fort Leonard Wood Squadron. Congratulations to these units for showing excellence in their cadet program. Colonel Todd, if we could ask you to join the commander for this next award. We have an Eager Award to present today. Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Mary Campbell, please come forward. The General Iverson Eagle Award is a fourth milestone award in the cadet program. This is the CAP's newest award for cadet achievement and implemented in December of 1995. The award honors the late Air Force General Iverson Eagle, aviation pioneer, cadet military officer, and one of the chief architects and visionaries of the United States Air Force. Only around 2% of cadets, or 200 per year, will ever attain this level, and reflects on the dedication of the cadet program. This award marks the end of Phase 4, the final phase of the cadet program, and this cadet is now eligible to test the prestigious Crowley Spouse Award and complete the cadet program. Dismissed for a 10-minute break from there at that time. It looks like we got a break too. So we'll do a 10-minute break. Let's go ahead and be back here at 9:40.
I'll probably also
are you filming the whole thing?
Yeah, they are. This one and the one in front of the project. There's one right in front of the projector too. Yeah, well, pointing out.
So you're not recording it, they're doing it?
No, but you can watch it. I will watch it. I'm just kind of I just sat here because there's an hour out.
I'm cheating.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
In here too?
Yes, he is. We drove up late last night.
A few times I talked to him.
I thought he was in here, but I haven't seen him come in yet.
So how's work been for you? Picking up any?
Well, yes, a little bit. Kind of steady. I had more trouble with my vehicle, leaking my radiator, and then my alternator quit. So I went and got it rebuilt, put it back on, and for the night I put it back on, got in the next morning and it quit. Took it back, and got it going, but I've been working on my alternator. I don't know. Well, actually, he didn't have to refix it.
Because if that's not going on right now, chance now, he's an instructor and they're not going to find you.
I started working for it. So I took it back, and I think it might have been my battery. I let it sit for a couple days, and then I started and the battery was pretty dead. So I changed the battery, and then my alternator started working.
It may be a case of where
when they get so low,
yeah, the alternator doesn't have power. That should be what it was. And then now I got to try to figure out my radio. Switch it, got the cap off and the reseal it back on. I switch it back on. I thought maybe my switch was bad, and then coming back.
Yeah, and then they put it in the pile they run. So that was up to the street.
Can you buy radiators for radiators?
Well, I thought about going to salvage yard because I didn't want to. But in town they didn't have one.
No, I hadn't heard of it, but that's what Chad said.
It doesn't help when you're trying to get out.
I know some of the salvage yards do it service.
I called Todd, and they usually do. Apparently they couldn't find it. I don't know. There's a radiator shop out south town. I went to go see about them, but they were open. Just like a small shop.
Expensive for the parts.
I should have it checked. It's probably about $200 for parts for it, but I haven't really taken the parts on it. I'm kind of looking for a better option first. I might have to look at it. I did ask him about repair. When I took it off and new seal on it, I asked him about it. He said they generally don't do anything for the seal, for the rubber, they don't get them there. The radius is about 10. That's why we took the radius about 10.
Is there one in Lebanon?
Yeah, south of town makes one, but it's just a little bitty shop. He wasn't there. And he didn't have a telephone number to call him later, so I'll check him later.
This is small shop there.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
I used to know the guy that had a radiator shop on 64, just at the edge of town, and a really good guy, but he quit his radiator shop and started working for MSA Propane.
Let's try sit and stage. size, bring them in as well too, please. Next, we'd like to invite the North Central Region Commander, Colonel Robert Hobbs.
I guess I have new themes. Any of you that were at the region conference, they had a movie Wing Mike. Remember that, but it just kept turning me down. And I'm always the one that stands there trying to get up to where the mic was set. So this one's set just right. I don't want to take a lot of your time. You have a lot of things going on. But I want to say just a few words about the changing governance at the national level. You've heard about it, I'm sure. If not, I'll give you a brief rundown on it. The national commander will no longer be selected by the wing commanders and the region commanders. It will now be selected by the Board of Governors. To tell the truth, when I first heard that, I thought, oh my gosh. But you know, what we do at the wing level, squadron level, isn't going to change. We volunteer to do a job, we do it. I volunteered to do a job when I joined CAP, I did it. Suddenly they said, I think maybe you ought to try for wing commander. I said, okay, I did that. And they said, well, you were a good wing commander, now be finance officer. Okay. And someone said, you ought to put your name in for region commander, and I did. Be honest, sometimes the chain of command doesn't quite get everything passed through properly. So if you want to send it to your squadron commander, your wing commander, and CC me in on it, that's fine by me. You may not hear back from me right away, or you may hear back through the chain of command. But it's your ideas that tell us what we need to do and where we need to go. There's a lot of changes. Our whole mission process is changing. We don't have the ELTs constantly popping up 2 and 3 times a week. I don't know where it is in Missouri, but region-wise, I doubt if we get 50 a year. That used to be what kept the airplanes flying. So now we're flying for other things. And we didn't need to know all the ideas. To keep that happening, to keep the cadet program moving ahead, they are the future. We're looking out for that future. We need to make sure that they're getting what they need and they're happy doing what they're doing. So I appreciate the time that you give me to speak. Like to keep it as informal as possible throughout the rest of the day. If you've got an idea and you don't want to email it, tap me on the shoulder. Other than Colonel and Sir, I'm Bob. So thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Bob. At this time, I'd like to invite Lieutenant Colonel Paul Peterson to speak, say a few words.
What a great theme song. Probably in the wrong part of the country for that right now, but I'll keep that in mind. Paul Peterson, I'm the newest Peterson to be added to the Peterson Mocap up in Minnesota. And like I like to tell everybody, they finally got it right because I spell my name correctly, unlike the last Peterson who was the commander up there. Mike retired, he's back flying with the airlines now, and I tell you what, I got some big shoes to fill. But I couldn't be happier to be here. I volunteered for this job, lobbied very hard for it, and really believe in the CAP mission. I'm a Minnesota boy, and spent my whole life in the upper Midwest, and it's good to be home. For me, I kind of been around the Air Force for quite a while. I started out life at the Air Force Academy, went to advanced for pilot training, ended up in Dover flying C-5s, thought life looked rosier on the other side, and got out and went to the 934th Airlift Wing in Minneapolis as a reservist flying 130s, and did so much of that that I thought I'd volunteer to come back on active duty. My wife thought I was crazy, and so did the Air Force. But in the end, they thought I was serious, and I spent the last 2 years at Air Force Reserve Command out in Georgia. And when I heard that Mike was going to retire, I started beating down all the bushes and all the doors to try to be the next guy in line. And the Air Force Personnel Center must have made a mistake because they gave me what I wanted. Colonel Todd's right. There's some changes on the horizon. And for those of you who've been in region, and like Colonel Plum from other wings have heard this explained a little bit before, but as you just saw, honored Rich for his service here as the state director, there is a change coming in CAP USAF, and it's being driven by finances. That change has its counterpart on the CAP side as well, and so the future is going to be a little bit different. The long and the short of it on the CAP USAF side is that the state director positions were changed and changed for good. And they're now called Liaison Region ADOs, Assistant Directors of Operations. 2 of the 4 state directors have remained behind, and unfortunately for all of us, the position that Rich was in and then Bill Willis up in Minnesota have been eliminated. Not the people, but the position. They're supposed to offer Rich the greatest assignment ever in the history of civil service, and he's just waiting to hear from GSA. He knows it's coming any day soon. But in the meantime, we still have him here and available to us. Now that wasn't supposed to be the case. There was supposed to be a change on 1 October, and then we were supposed to lose some personnel. But this is one of those years where things are really held hostage by the legislative process. And so for a little while, we now have magically ended up with an overage. So I'm actually top heavy on personnel because I have 2 additional liaison region ADOs that I didn't anticipate having. What that means for us, the good news for us, is that we have Rich's experience here for a while longer. I can't tell any of you how long that will be, but for as long as Rich is around, he will be available to work and interface with the wing and with all of the wings throughout the region if necessary. And so I would encourage you, in the meantime, to continue to draw upon his great experience, his wisdom, and his knowledge in this area. And he will continue to work with me, and will try to provide you all the best service we possibly can. And at some point, unfortunately, in the future, he will probably no longer be with us. quite a bit more closely, and the region then working with the wings and trying to facilitate with a smaller footprint, better connectivity, better work throughout the region, and continue to make North Central what I think is the best region in civil air patrol. That's why I'm both happy to be here and couldn't be happier to be working with you for as long as they'll have me and until they run me out of the Air Force. Thanks, appreciate it, look forward to seeing you all today.
Thanks, sir. At this time, we'd like to invite Lieutenant Colonel Dan Ranson, our Vice Commander and Finance Officer for the wing. He has a few words to speak to us about the evolving budget.
I can only say to Daddy, show me the money. That's all I can do. I gave him a bar. I can live on that one. Show me the money, we'll go from there. As the FM, I have to be honest with everybody. We talked about sequestration. I think something close to that the cutbacks are happening. I don't have good news to say, but talking with our folks at NHQ, it's come down to the fact that we can't expect a lot of funding support. Of course, the Air Force is trying to support us, and we're going to do with what we have. I do want to basically announce that we have budgeted this year, and we're in tight constraints, just like I think most wings. We certainly have our ducks in a row. I feel really that we're on solid ground from a financial standpoint. But we do have issues. We have communications. We have other areas that we'd like to improve in. We just don't have the money for it. We're going to start an alternative funding program. There'll be no more news coming on that. And we do have to employ more funding outside of the normal chains and venues we've had in previous years. If we're going to grow, it's not hard to sustain. It's a whole other challenge to grow, though, because you have to have new assets. You have to have more resources than we are if we're going to grow and stay up with technology. So from a finance position, we have our work cut out for us going forward. So we're looking at that. We realize the situation exists. So we're looking at venues to be able to help support all of you. It's the people in the field that when we have these ES programs with Colonel Fuller, and we have responses, we like to be able to address those in an appropriate manner and do the best job possible. You have a fantastic performance record, especially the last few years. We've just done a wonderful job, and congratulate yourselves. You deserve a lot of pat on the backs for jobs well done. But we are going to pursue getting more funding in different ways, grant monies that we have the last 2 years due to some real fine efforts, Major Worcester and Colonel Fuller and others. So show me the money and we can go forward. And thank you very much on that regard. On the Vice Commander, we are trying to improve the role of the group commanders, improve our communications, go forward, and for the sake of getting information down to all of you. Yes, last night in our conversations with Colonel Williams and Sanger, we shared with you the point about improve our websites, improve the communication link with all of you, and that's really important. We realize we have issues there. We're not kidding you. We really do, and we want to go forward and get the information down to you. So if you have suggestions, you have ideas of improvements, just like Colonel Todd mentioned, we're here to serve you. And it's not that you're here from us, it's the other way around. I thank you for reminding us that, Colonel. It's a great point. So thank you very much.
And I see that Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Sager is back. He would like to have a few words with us as well. Hopefully they're good words.
Strolling, they laughing, rolling their eyes because I'm so white and dirty. Because I'm white and dirty. Because I'm white and dirty. Because I'm white and dirty. Oh, now I'm white and dirty.
Okay, Colonel Olin thinks that I'm definitely an IT geek, so the appropriate music, white and dirty. Wow. Okay, I just have a few announcements to start off with. Originally, When we thought we were going to have all these awards to present, we thought we were going to not have enough time. In fact, we're supposed to be kicked out of this room for another event, and then we're back in this room again tonight. So they're really crowded this weekend. They're doing the best they can to shuffle us around with the quilters that are here. On that note, the ladies have invited us to participate in a project that they have. I'm not exactly sure where it's set up other than out in the lobby. There are quilts that they've asked that we sign. They're blocks, I'm sorry. They're blocks to sign. And basically those quilts will be presented to military members that are overseas and away from home. So please, if you're curious about that, want to get involved, just find one of those ladies and ask them to guide you in the right direction to sign those blocks. So on that note, I am going to give the opportunity for my staff to step up here and say some words about their different areas and address some of the things that we've got going on. But I want to make some announcements for the conference. So if you bear with me, if you've got your folders, you'll see there's a listing of rooms. So here's your opportunity to figure out what those rooms are, because they're not A, B, C, and D. Room A is the St. Louis room, which is upstairs on the second floor. Most of these are on the second floor. So room B is the Carnegie room, which if you go through the restaurant, it's the hallway behind the restaurant. That'll be the Carnegie room. Okay. It's misspelled on my phone, so. Right, C is the Springfield room, and that is also upstairs. The Sedalia room is room D. That is located right across the hall from it's right next to the fitness, right here outside the elevators. So you're not going in there to work out, you're going in there to talk about, whatever. You're actually in the room next door, so don't get lost. Yeah, chaplains are in there first. The chaplains, you'll be able to, spiritual workout. Thank you. It's actually the room next door. It's not the fitness room, so I just want to make sure you know where it's at. And the last room is the Kansas City room, which is on the second floor as well. Group commanders or group commander representatives. There should be one from each group, and then the other selected guests that have been invited by the wing command staff. We will be having lunch in the Joplin room at 11:30. For everyone else, once we break here, lunch is on your own. They will have a buffet set up again, or we're supposed to have a buffet set up again for lunch in the hotel restaurant. So, I can give me my point. So, in case you want to carry around a challenge coin, just like this. It does fit in my pocket, believe it or not. We actually have these available for sale. I want to highlight this a little bit. You see it here on the front of the podium, but the challenge coin, if you're not familiar with it, it's a military tradition. There's lots of different stories about how it started. One such story is that a wealthy pilot back from World War II, World War I, so one of those two wars, he had a group of individuals in his crew, and he gave them each what was a family coin, and it had his family crest on it. And that coin basically represented that crew, and that he was in charge of them. And the idea behind that particular story is that if something were to happen to the crew, that is their way of showing that they survived. So to come back and show that coin, if somebody else brought that coin back, it meant that individual was no longer with us. That's one such story. I've heard several different other versions of the challenge coin. But for the military, the challenge coin is a very time-honored tradition. And it's not the first time we've had coins for Missouri Wing. We've basically just updated it. So we have the new coin. Like I said, it does look just like this one. Okay. On the back side, it's got a nice little airplane. It has the 3 missions on the back. And We have special points from the wing commander that has presented by the wing commander with the eagle on it for the rank. But for everybody else, we'd like to encourage you to participate in the challenge point program. You can buy one for yourself and just have on you. But the idea is really designed more for you to present to people that you feel have done an outstanding job. So squadron commanders, you know, when the certificate isn't appropriate, or when you're out in the field and you don't have anything else and you have the coins, it's a great way of saying thank you. So those coins are available. I don't know if we've had any sold this morning, but they are available. They're $6 a piece, or 2 for $10. So, and yes, if you buy 4, it is still $10 for the set of 2. So, no. For the set of 2, it's 10. Yes. So for every 2 coins, it's $10. So make sure you are clear on that. A couple other announcements. We always have pilots that are looking for flight suits. We have about 35 to 40 flight suits that are available during the lunch. Or actually, excuse me, during the breakout sessions, up in the hospitality room, we'll have the flight suits available. Those are $25 a piece. The proceeds from that go into a scholarship. Basically, I'm eating the cost of the flight suits, and because I purchased all of them, and I'm eating the cost on them, and turning around and putting that back in as a scholarship from me for cadets for the encampment next year. So if you would like a flight suit, they are $25 for the flight suits, which they're $125 if you buy them brand new. So and most of the ones I have are brand new. So the flight suits are available. I didn't bring the shirt down with me, but we'll have one on display. Another new thing that we're going to do, just to continue to show the brand of the Reserve Wing, which the Show Me Excellence motto, and kind of ties along with our theme of raising the bar. We have polo shirts that are available. They're not here. You'll have to order them, and then you'll get them in about 2 weeks. But those are $30 plus shipping, so about $35, $15 is what it comes out to. If you'd like to have your name embroidered on it, like the colonels and I have, that's an additional $5. So it'll be about $40 and some change after shipping. So we're not making a profit off of those at all. That's strictly paying for the shirt. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. I would like to recognize my staff that's here today that is putting together the conference. I've got some great folks that have stepped up and, or Julie conned them into, I'm not sure the appropriate term, but stepped up and have put together a great show. And it's unfortunate that Julie is not here to see her success. If my staff that's here today in the audience, please stand and just be recognized. Let's go. Come on. As I announced earlier, if you have any questions about anything, your best bet is find one of those folks. They may not know the answer, but they know how to find me. So they'll have their badge is orange. So if you have any questions, their primary goal here for most of them is public affairs. So you may see them taking your photos, taking your video, interviewing you. Everything that they provide tonight is going to be actually being put onto the website now. I see Jared back there typing away. We're broadcasting live right now, in case you didn't know. And we're making sure that the rest of the wing that isn't able to be here still is able to enjoy what we presented. On that same note, we're going to do our best to have every seminar today videotaped and put back onto the web. So, in a business challenge, I want to say thank you to the team that has put this together, and pressing forward, I can't say enough thanks, because you guys have done an outstanding job up to this point, and I know you're going to continue to do so throughout the weekend. So with that note, I'd like to open it up to the floor for the rest of my wing staff before I take back over, and we will see what kind of announcements we have. And start with ES. please come on up and use the microphone because it is being recorded, so we need to make sure that it's sound.
Thank you, Commander. Thank you, Brad. There's going to be hopefully a handout printed and then handed out during the breakout sessions. We had some printer issues, so they didn't get them printed for this morning to be handed out. Be a synopsis kind of what I've got here. As Colonel Todd mentioned, we do have a lot of changes coming in missions. So far this year, Missouri Wing has responded, this calendar year, Missouri Wing has responded to 6 missions. Come down from the AFRCC, so you can see, like he said, we used to have 50 or so a year region-wide. Our numbers for our SAR missions are down dramatically. However, our missions for disaster relief are going up. We have an excellent working relationship with the National Guard. And our missions are changing to photos for both air and ground photography. There is a photo contest that was run, and yeah, it'll be announced later today, either at the banquet or whatever.
I think we're ready to announce it shortly.
Okay, so there you go. And we're growing in communications. You've heard or received some emails from me about Vigilant Guard, which is an earthquake exercise. The National Guard wants us to be very heavily involved with their communications. And from the Missouri Homeland Security, they're putting together a statewide communication system, which is called a trunking system. So you can use your VHF radio and you can talk from the Boot Heel area all the way to the northwest corner of the state via the trunking system. And we're being asked to join in that and have our radios programmed to do that. Some of our radios are capable of doing it, some of them aren't. Those that are will be programmed for that system. So we've got that good relationship. On the back table, there's a box of emergency response guides or orange books. It's a chemical response. If you see something happen, you go down the highway, you see these placards on trucks that's got numbers in them. You always wonder what that number means. Look it up in that book, and then that book will tell you what to do if there's an accident involving that chemical and so forth. If those are all taken and you need more, contact your county emergency management. They have the books. They are free, and you can get more from them. This afternoon in the airborne photography class, we will also have the current state aeronautical charts that are printed. They're not valid for flight, but they're an excellent tool for pre-planning and for ground teams to use. They're nice because they're printed on a type of paper you can write on them with an erasable marker, and you can draw your lines or whatever on them, and then you can wipe that off of there. Also, there should be some current highway maps that will be available this afternoon. Coming up is Vigilant Guard. That is the earthquake exercise that's primarily the National Guard. However, State Emergency Management will also be involved in it, as well as SEMA and other agencies. We will have bases of operation at Spirit Airport, Ike Skelton, and some other local areas that have come to me and said, hey, can we do some ground team training? Absolutely. It's a funded training. We may have to shift some of that training. Colonel, don't listen to this. We may have to shift some of that funding from air to ground or ground to air, but it's all covered in my initial request. And I don't think the Colonel's got a problem with that. Okay, he didn't hear me. Mentioned is that through grant monies this past year, we applied for some grant monies. And with that, we were able to upgrade all of our aircraft so that they can support the portable repeaters. Previously, we only had 3 aircraft that could do that. All 8 aircraft in the wing can now support that portable repeater. It allows us to talk VHF basically all over the state. If we put an airplane up at 10,000 feet, we can cover almost, I'm saying about 85% of the state. Hopefully, we would never be in a situation where we need to cover 100% of the state with a VHF repeater, but if we had to, we put 2 repeaters up and accomplish that. We've also, I believe we're the only wing in Civil Air Patrol that now owns our own JEEP system. JEEP is an acronym for Geospatial Intelligence, Interoperability, Exploitation Platform. I hope you remember that because there will be a test on it this afternoon. Essentially, it's streaming video from an aircraft over the internet. We also have 2 sat phones, which we now own for Missouri Wing. Those were purchased with grant monies. Lastly, during a recent communications exercise that we participated in with the National Guard,
National Guard came to us, came to me and Major Hamilton. They want to sponsor Civil Air Patrol in the next Cyber Patriot competition. They want 2 teams, and they have the, if you will, Cyber Patriot simulators. They want our cadets to come in and do whatever they do for Cyber Patriot. If they crash a computer, the guard just goes over and presses a reset button, and they go on from there. So I believe Colonel Oldham's working on that for the teams net. But we will have 2 teams that will be sponsored by the Missouri National Guard. So that's it. I'll be around the rest of the day. I'll be at the conference this evening. I have a question in the back from Mom.
Don't forget the spot tracker, sir.
Oh, yeah. We have spot trackers. We didn't get any more. We just got the ones we have. Spot tracker is a device that we have in all of the aircraft and a few of the ground teams. We put in grant requests for more. I don't think we're going to get that because the grants this year were very, very limited. But the spot tracker, as you know by regulation, our air crews and ground teams, when they're out, they have to check in by regulation every 30 minutes. That's not always capable because of location and so forth. But the spot tracker is a satellite-based GPS system that sends a ping every 10 minutes, and various ones in the room have got access to the websites, and we can track that. We can look at that and see where that aircraft is every 10 minutes. So if the aircraft can't check in or the ground team can't check in either by radio or cell phone or relay through another station, we can go on and look at that spot tracker. During our guided exercise in Sedalia, which was the one picture you saw, the commander sitting there next to the former wing commander, Colonel Williams, we had an aircraft that we could not locate. We stopped the practice and transitioned to actual mission status. I was on the telephone getting a mission number from AFRCC. When a report came back, we found the aircraft, we know where they're at, so we canceled that. But the spot trackers will help prevent doing that. We got high accolades during our graded SAR this summer because we use those spot trackers. We don't have to talk to them by telephone or cell phone, or we can look at spot tracker and see where they're at. Now, we did have one issue where someone using a spot tracker pushed the 911 button. There's a button on there you can push, and it says call 911. And I get an email, the colonel gets an email, and several of us get emails when that happens, and all of a sudden everybody's calling already. What the heck's going on? It says call 911, but this airplane's still moving. Why do we need to call 911? Well, we found out that somebody inadvertently pushed that button. But it sure got everybody's attention, and we started making phone calls to go look for that airplane. So, that's all I have. Any other questions? I'll be around. Like I say, I'll be at the banquet this evening. Thank you.
Before he sits down, front board, other board. Okay. Okay, Ross, did you get the slide loaded? Okay. If I could get Captain Worcester. Austin? Wow. Captain Worcester, can please come upstairs, come up here, and just kind of explain the mission of what we did in this photo contest. And we're going to go through the slides, and then we're going to announce the winner. Colonel Williams will announce the winner.
Well, as everybody know, we've been doing this on the fly, extemporaneously. Looks kind of like so please forgive me for preparing that. This particular mission, we've done several over the last year, working very hard on our aerial photography and ground photography missions. That is our newest, latest, greatest nationwide test. And just before this mission occurred, national headquarters from a no-notice photo mission on every single wing in the country to test their performance. And as usual, this is something we do very well. We train on it quite a bit, and we were extremely successful in that mission. Following that mission became this mission, which was our photo contest, which we'd already kind of planned on. We flew a lot of sorties. Every aircraft in the wing participated. There were hundreds of pictures, but there are 3 standouts that we're going to post up here just to show you the capabilities of this. This is the sortie. I believe that was out of the Kansas City Squadron, and that's one of the power plants in the Kansas City area. Outstanding photograph. This one, Riddle of Ancient happened to take that photo. That's the air crew out of Alvin, and that's Top Top. Another outstanding photograph. These are the best of the best. There were hundreds of photographs. They were all outstanding. These are the best of the best. And then finally, this is the air crew out of Branson. And this is the Tingle Rock Lake. These are the type of photographs that we're doing during damage assessments. Pretty much on no notice, and that's kind of how we sprung this. We ran this mission for almost a month to allow air crews to get the best possible photographic conditions to take that aerial imagery. And then we take that, and believe it or not, I was using your photos nationally when I wanted. We used to just use these as examples of outstanding photographs, and what we can use to analyze these during damage assessment in our missions for the First Air Force and for FEMA. So,
So, can you pull that last picture back up there, please? All right, so here we have, this is our winning photographs. If I can have Lana Fletcher. One thing I would like to throw out, when it comes to taking photographs, we're limited on what photos we can share and what photos we can't share. When you are out and about and you have permission to share those photos, please do so. One of the things that we are chartered to do is maintain a historical file of what we do at Missouri Wing. And those photos not only are great for public affairs, but they're great to show national headquarters what we've done in the past year. So please continue to do great work and continue to share those photos. So, okay, Roger, go ahead and put the other slides back on. Yeah. All right, absolutely. In case you didn't hear what he just said, when we are taking photographs for other agencies, those photos don't belong to us. They belong to the agency that we're taking them for, and we have to have their permission to use those photos. So, just something to keep in mind. Yeah. What would you like to do? Yeah, no, you're good. Those are good. That's it. All right, from Public Affairs. Sir, do you have anything?
I just want to take a moment to recognize Lieutenant Mike Cooper and his team for all their hard work this weekend. They are making the rest of us look really good on those pictures, so smiles, everything else. You can't swing a dead cat this weekend without hitting someone with a camera, so that's excellent. In the past, that was usually, as you know, me being everywhere at the same time. So I appreciate your hard work. Good job, and looking forward to seeing all these photos. Outstanding. Professional development on up here. I just want to
recognize the fact that we were able over the last year to provide quite a number of training courses across the wing. I want to thank the different groups and units who did that. Our goal is to provide these training sessions for all the usual training events in each group throughout the year. Otherwise, any questions, please see me this weekend. Thank you.
All right, so you notice as I go through, I'm not going to call up the folks that have seminars because that's what you're there to talk about. So, let's see, legal we have a seminar for, so please take the opportunity to go see what he has to say. Aerospace as well has a seminar along with recruiting and retention. Please go check out her presentation. It's going to be an outstanding opportunity. Which leads me into my next point, membership drive. I kind of stuck my foot in my mouth about 2 months ago. I put a challenge out to all the squadron commanders. The challenge was to raise our membership to 1,300 members. We didn't make the goal, we're about 150 members short. But the challenge was the first unit to get to five new members, and the first unit, and then the following challenge was the unit with the highest number of recruits. So the first challenge was to get to the first 5 members was a pizza party thrown by me. Hopefully we'll get the opportunity to get out there and actually visit with the unit and enjoy the pizza party. If not, we'll see. The second one was to receive a $50 gift card from me for Vanguard to be used for the squadron. Same unit did both. And not only did they do both, they have 16 new members on the books, which is very impressive. On the downside, though, there's a lot of negatives, and I'm not sure what we can do to help. Which is why I want to encourage you to go to that recruiting and retention brief, listen to what she has to say, talk to other units, talk to this unit, find out what they're doing that is so successful. Because your membership is your money, basically. That's what drives your unit. That's what keeps you in existence. That's what keeps the nasty emails from Colonel Fuller saying, you're about to lose your status. So with that, I want to recognize this outstanding squadron that is achieved and you know, took $100 out of my pocket. So if I could have the Lee Summit Squadron Commander come forward. Should have a big box of pizza. That's true. Lieutenant would like to take all that credit, but at the same time, I want to recognize the outgoing commander from that unit, Major John Burroughs. I know you had a great part in getting that going, so thank you as well. All right, I realize we have several different seminars going for communications. I'm going to bypass you as well, if that's okay. Is there anybody else from wing staff that has something they would like to present or need to talk about for today? All right, I think we're actually moving right along. Look at that. Okay, so let me finish out then with the rest of my stuff as wing staff. Oh, Bill, did you have anything? Okay. Do we have questions for Rob? All right. Moving on to the rest of the items for chief of staff. If you don't know, I wear a lot of hats. And this weekend I wore more hats than I wanted to. You know, it was great having a project officer. Unfortunately, she just couldn't be here. And with that, I want to open up some invitations. First off, next year's wing conference. Believe it or not, we have already started planning next year's conference. We have to. It's a large market, and to secure a hotel to make sure we get reasonable prices for you, we have to start planning a year in advance. So right off the bat, if anybody is interested in being part of that, I'd certainly like to interview you to be the project officer for the Wing Conference. Along with that, the Plans and Programs position, I've been wearing that hat for about, I don't know, when did I come back from the desert? Almost 6 years. I said, hey, I need a job, and at that time, Chief of Staff, Colonel Williams said, well, what about Plans and Programs? And I've been on the conferences and planning all the Wing Commanders calls and various events like that for about 6 years now. And I'd really like to get somebody to step up and take that position. I'm also looking for an IT smart person. Even though my song says white and nerdy, I'm not. And you know, so the website struggles because of that. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. And lastly, there are other positions that are open that need assistance, just need to be filled, that we don't even have a person sitting in. If you are interested in joining Wing staff from your unit, basically it's an additional duty, please come see me, come talk to me. I'd be more than happy to interview you and find out what your interests are and bring you on board. Because without the outstanding members that we have within the Wing, we wouldn't have the staff that we've got, and we would not be able to support you as a Wing without those folks. So if I could, just a round of applause for all of the Wing staff. Which brings me to my white and nerdy hat. The question was asked last night regarding the Blue Book. For years, we've printed a Blue Book, and about 4 or 5 years ago, that Blue Book went online. It was electronic only, and you would have to go to download it. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's missing. It has been missing for almost 6 months now, and that's my fault. It really is. It comes down to it, we no longer are able to automatically build that product, and it comes down to a process of tying into the national database, being able to update that data. I'd love to do it. I'm just not smart enough. And I'm working with Minnesota Wing to share their resources because they have that capability. We just need to figure out how to get it ported over to the Wing site. We did have that capability previously, and it was on the region server. The capability is still there. However, what we've noticed is, even on the region server, it doesn't always update, which is why I took it offline, because we were finding that people were calling numbers and people that didn't exist anymore, because even though we would update the stuff, the data connection to national wasn't updated, so we'd have wrong phone numbers, wrong emails, and the like. So now we have to manually build that until I can find somebody who's smart enough again to put the connection together. So I promise, after this weekend, when I'm no longer focusing on the Wing Conference, that is my #1 priority, is to get the Blue Book back out to you and make sure that it's in the hands of the commanders and their staff so that they can continue to do their job. On the other side of that, I want to offer to you, the squadrons, if you do not have a squadron website, you can get a domain name for free for your unit that says Civil Air Force, says Missouri Wing in it. It's basically the same as the Wing sites. It just adds your unit to the front of it. So please, if you're interested in doing so, please let me know, and we will certainly get that set up for you as quickly as possible. There's about 4 or 5 other units that already have one set up, and they're great looking sites, and guess what? They're free. So you can't beat that. So please, let me know if you have any questions about that. At this time, that's pretty much all I got. Is there any questions, anything from the rest for Wing staff that you'd like to pass on, or any questions about the conference that you need answered? Sir?
Can you review the names of the rooms again?
Sure. Okay, if you're looking at your slides one more time, the A is the St. Louis room. B is the Carnegie room. C is the Springfield room. D is the Sedalia room. And E is the Kansas City room. I need to repeat that again.
And what floors they're on?
What's that?
They're all, which ones are on the second floor, which are the main floor?
All but the Carnegie and the Sedalia room on the first floor, the rest are on the second floor. Carnegie is right behind the restaurant, and the Sedalia is right across next to the fitness center. Once again, please, if you have not already registered, make sure you go get your packet, go get your name badge. You need to be wearing your name badge just to let folks know that you are here attending for this conference and that you have registered. Those of you who do not have meal tickets, because it wasn't in your folder and you're supposed to have one, they will be available tonight at the banquet. Those tent cards that are in your folder, those are your tickets. Without it, you don't eat. And the Colonel would love to have extra slices, and so would I. This Colonel would love to have extra slices of cheesecake. So please, you're more welcome to not show up. But no, please be there. Please enjoy the rest of this conference, and I'll turn it back over to you, Ron. Thank you.
And Colonel Sanker, before you step down, the Colonel has a presentation for you. You weren't expecting this, but Lieutenant Colonel Sanker has now achieved his level 4 award. So this is his presentation for that.
Shortly to become retired Master Sergeant Brad Sanker. How many more days, seconds? Yeah. 11 more days and he will be retired from the Air Force. And I went to his retirement ceremony this summer, and I wasn't really surprised, but I was. Because I know how important he is to us, and those of you that have been here for a while know that. You know how much he does for us, and I did not realize how much the Air Force really felt the same way about him, and the honors and the accolades he has received there. And I just want to make sure that we recognize his service and say thank you, not only for what you do for us, but what you've done for our country with the Air Force. So, congratulations.
Immediately after we dismiss, come to the back of the room so you can get your order for lunch. So just come immediately, group commanders, come to the back of the room, get your order, and we'll get ready to move on. So everybody else enjoy lunch.
Okay, so we have lunch. We meet at 1300 for our breakout sections. Please be on time. We've got lots of bill covered today, so everybody's doing great so far. We haven't flooded the hotel. We appreciate that. We've been here 16, 17 hours. So at this time, we need to rise. Please rise for the departure of our front table. Oh, wait, one more thing.
One more, sorry. Two things are going to take place during lunch. I almost forgot about them. Thank you, Jeff. I'm sorry about that. Upstairs, actually, Jeff will be going to use yours right across the hall of the Sedalia room. Also will give basically a service, or what we just a small prayer time or a service for everybody that's interested. Jeff will be over there. It starts at 11:30. Okay, starts at 11, goes to 11:30. Okay. Also another announcement, Lieutenant Oliver, where you at? There he is. He's going to talk about an opportunity for cadets and senior members to go to Washington, D.C. as a group next summer. So please, if you're interested in doing so, that'll stay right here in this room.
Okay, so at this time, please rise for the march for everybody, please. And you are dismissed. We'll see you at 1300.